everybody, and welcome to Moms on a Mission. Today, I want to chat with you about our good friend, Vicki Natali at Organic Body Essentials. Vicki has created this skincare line that's purely organic and powerful and toxin-free. She was an engineer and she got tired of that industry and she was looking for something powerful and effective. And she created a skincare line in her own kitchen sink. It's just incredible. It's called Organic Body Essentials. I absolutely love it. Just go to organicbodyessentials.com, type in the code MISSION, and you can save 5%. That's organicbodyessentials.com, code MISSION. So today we have a wonderful guest, and this, I am not kidding you guys. I just met her maybe 15 minutes ago. Clay said, I want you to meet this gal. And the first thing he said, well, let me tell you her name, Teena Horlacher. Horlacher is German. I just found that out. But Clay, the first thing he said after he introduced me to her was that she has 10 kids. And of course, I stopped in my tracks and I said, what? You have 10 kids and she's beautiful and she looks like she has all the time in the world and doesn't have anything to do. And so we just got to visiting about kids and things of that nature. And I thought I would love for you to come on the show because a lot of our listeners are moms. We do have dads and grandparents, but I would love to hear your story. I was asking her questions about how she knew Clay, and she did an event in Salt Lake City, Utah. She's from Utah. And so I would love for you to tell your story to our listeners. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay. Well, I am a mom of 10 children, and I live kind of in northern Utah, and I've homeschooled all of my children. I actually hold elected office. I do a lot of political work in Utah. I'm involved in a lot of ways and different things. I have my hands in lots of things. So,
well, let's start off with the fact that you have 10 kids. Let's start from there. So why did you end up having 10 kids? When you got married, did you tell your husband, I'm only marrying you if you have 10 kids? Like, how did that happen exactly?
Well, he wanted 3 and I wanted 7. So
you added it together.
Yeah.
Usually you divide in the middle. I love your compromising math. That's very interesting.
Really, it was all about God, really.
Yeah.
I mean, truly. He was the one that sent them there and sent them here. I gave them a home. So,
yeah.
And it's been a great blessing to my life.
Wow. When you said you homeschooled them, I just got done talking with Sam Sorbo today, and we were talking about homeschooling. And she was sharing that children are a gift from God. And Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it, or she. And she said homeschooling is taking that scripture,
absolutely,
literally, and training up the child. So you wanted 7 kids. So do you come from a family of a lot of kids?
I have 8 siblings, or
okay.
I have 7 siblings. There's 8 of us.
8. Okay. So you're used to a big family.
Yeah.
It's not abnormal.
No.
Okay. So your family reunions, I mean, do you need just like valet parking and people to help out with, it sounds like there are going to be a lot of people there.
Oh, they're a lot of fun when we get together.
Wow. I'm wondering, how does each kid have their own room, or do they all share rooms? So you have 5 bedrooms. How does that work?
So they all share rooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are their ages?
So my oldest is 30 and my youngest is 12.
Wow. So, and is it just kind of pretty evenly spread out between all of them?
Yeah, pretty much 2 years apart.
Wow. And I feel like when you see kids or kids in a large family, some of the older kids will help train the younger kids. And does that work for you in your house like that?
Yeah. So, some of my children are outside the home now. But when they were younger, they would definitely help out. I always tell people who look at me like with wide eyes thinking, how did you do this? And you just do it one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And God just increases your ability as you are willing to do his will.
And your husband must be fully on board with this and helps out tremendously. I mean, there's no way you could do it by yourself.
I actually do it by myself.
You do?
I told you I was going to throw you.
Okay, people. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm single. I'm divorced.
Yeah. So how old were the kids when you got divorced?
I got divorced 4 years ago.
4 years ago. So, and you said, so you still have kids in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So this is incredible because I have spoken to other moms with less kids and they kind of joke about like, my husband and I could never get divorced because how would we make this work, but you must understand the grace of God firsthand, up close and personal, because you're living it day by day.
Absolutely. Yep. I have my entire life.
Wow. So, how did you get involved in politics? Because you said you hold a public office.
Well, I have a bachelor's in journalism and a bachelor's in political science. And then I went on to get my master's in political economy. And for some reason, God just put it into my heart an interest in government. I just always was interested in the workings of government and the power they hold and in relation to the people. And so it was just kind of what I almost got a doctorate also in constitutional studies. So as I was going along and learning.
Wait, did you just say you got a doctorate in constitution?
Almost, not quite. I didn't finish it, but I was very close. I just had to do a dissertation, and that was while I was having children.
I'm a little busy with the 10 kids. So.
Yeah, so I didn't care about doing my dissertation. So anyway, so I was involved. I think one of the reasons why I really got involved is because as I was growing up, my dad really instilled that love of freedom in me. But he would always complain about things, but wouldn't really do anything about it. And that always annoyed me. And I just felt like I just told God I wanted to do something about it. I didn't want to just sit and complain. I wanted to do something about it. And so the first thing I did was to start to learn. And then I figured out how to involve myself. And so it started with just getting elected as a delegate. And then I served as a party chair on the state central committee. And I do all kinds of things.
Do you want to continue up that ladder? I mean, in pursuit,
holding public office. I can't think of anything more worse than that. I have no desire to hold political office. I like informing people. I mean, if you really want to talk all about this, I'm sure happy to, but it's not talking about being a mom at all. But
no, we tell us everything. We want to know all about you.
So when I became the county chair, I exposed what was going on in the party in that county, and that just kind of has led me on a whole path. And so I'm just kind of known. And I could see how dysfunctional the party was, even though I've continued to hold an elected office within the party. I sensed then some of the elected officials worked against me, and so I was not reelected, but that was okay. That was a blessing. And so I created a group called the Davis County Conservatives, and we have community forums twice a month. And I'm just all about educating people and helping them understand what they can do. I help find people who are willing to hold elected office. We help them run their campaigns, help raise money for them. And we also mobilize people. So when we have things that are going on in the legislature, we will help to mobilize people. And so that's kind of what I do. I do more than that. I'm also involved with some other groups, like a leader of all of the groups in Utah to help, again, kind of do the same thing. And so we're just working really hard because Utah is actually really corrupt.
Yeah.
So we're working hard election fraud is, I could just tell you stories that would curl your toes.
Well, tell us one, because we want to curl one toe.
Okay. So I'll tell you the latest one that I just dealt with. My daughter was elected as secretary of the Utah GOP 2 years ago. So she was up for re-election at state convention in April. And it's kind of a long story, but we had county convention one week, state convention the very next week. And I was up for re-election for my position, and different people started to attack me. And the Salt Lake Tribune was trying to run a hit piece on me. And they were trying to stop me from my slate winning. You know what a slate is?
No.
So a slate is a grouping of candidates that are running for something. So like in Davis County, there's like 8 state central committee members. So I had a slate of 8. So when we went to convention, people could know who the conservative candidates were, because sometimes you're looking at 30 candidates for 8 positions and you're like, I don't know who to vote for.
I've experienced that.
So we were super successful, but they tried really hard to not get us elected, but we won anyway. And then we go to state convention the next week where my daughter's up for re-election. Well, the Salt Lake Tribune, the pit of journalism in the state of Utah, was trying to run this hit piece on me. And so they put it right out the day before convention. But at this point, it was about me, but it was also towards my daughter, who's married. And anyway, so on the state ballot, they listed her last name as her maiden name rather than her married names to try to connect her to the article that was anyway. And they voted by phones. And
what?
Yeah, they voted by phones.
I've never heard of that. And I think I've heard a lot. How do you vote by phone?
So this really is a kind of so at the state central committee, I ran a motion for paper ballots and it was voted on. So we were supposed to vote by paper ballots, but unbeknownst to the state central committee, the convention committee wasn't planning on using paper ballots. So we ran this whole very fast effort to have paper ballots. Anyway, it didn't work. So we still voted for paper ballots, or we still voted by phone. So there were 3 candidates for secretary. Both the chair and the vice chair by acclamation. So that meant there was no one running against them. So really it was only the secretary's race. And they were trying so hard to not get her elected. I'm just thinking, my word, what do they care about her as secretary? I'm just thinking, what?
Like that position is secretary.
What do they have planned? You know? And so what ended up happening, there's more I could tell you about that. There were 3 candidates. One was a conservative vote splitter, a plant. So there was my daughter, who was the incumbent, the liberal one that tried to make herself sound. She's from New York City. She's so liberal. Anyway, she tried to make herself sound conservative. So we're voting by phones. So the first round of ballot of the results were, my daughter was 800 something. This woman from New York City was 1100 something, and the vote splitter was 300 something. Well, if you added my daughter and Nick together, it was 33 more votes than the New York lady got. So the one guy drops off, and now it's between my daughter and her. And both times they did not announce the results for an hour after the vote was taken. So there's like a whole hour, and it's electronic. It makes you know, like immediately.
Oh, absolutely.
So the second round of balloting, there's just the 2 of them. They announced the results right before we're going to adjourn. And they don't put the numbers up on the screen. They announce them. My daughter's vote total did not change. And the other woman's vote total was 34. So if you remember the difference, she was 33 above, and now she's 34 above, and my daughter's didn't change. Anyway, it was crazy. So that's just one little example. Then they went and used that same voting system for a special election to replace a congressman. And we just barely had that. So anyway, there's a lot of corruption.
I want to know, is this voting by phone a national concept, or is it just Utah?
Just Utah so far as I know. We're trying so hard to get paper ballots. It's so ridiculous. It's so hard, but so many people are just interested in saving time. It's just like, we don't really care. So it's hard to really help people understand how much they need to distrust. Thomas Jefferson said, you need to look at your elected officials with a jealous regard to your freedoms. And people just want to trust, they just want to just trust. So,
because don't you think trusting is faster and easier?
I think trusting means you don't have to work. You just think you can just have life go on. There's no effort on your part for your civil liberties. That's just a crazy concept.
And I just think a mom of 10, now I only have one, so I don't believe I could speak to this, but a mom of 10 to be involved and to be active and to research. I mean, really, if you can do it, anybody can do it, right?
Well, I think it does have to do with priorities. And I mean, I know God placed certain desires in my heart for certain reasons. And so I think that's what's led me along the path that I've been on. And so some people might not have the similar desires, but I think people, to me, it's crazy to think that you can live in a society and not participate in the civil part of that society. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how do you maintain your freedom? People just don't think about it. It's crazy. So we try to educate people on that and help them to really think about, you know, the effect that their elected officials that their votes are having on you, because they're having a very large effect.
Yeah. And General Flynn says local action makes a national impact. And I have to say, and I've said this multiple times before 2020, I did vote, but my husband and I were just talking about this the other night, and that is I would reach out to somebody who did research and who was a conservative, and I would say, how do I need to vote? So I would do that, but I probably didn't appreciate the gift of voting, that I didn't appreciate the fact that men died so I could drive a mile and a half to 2 miles to go vote. Like, somebody died for me to be able to have that freedom. And I just didn't take it very seriously. And as I've gone back and gone through history, and I've seen and revisited the bloodshed and the pain and anguish and life that was lost so that we could have this freedom, it just makes me value it so much more. And I feel the responsibility to these men and women who were in harm's way so that I could have the freedom to vote.
Right. Well, I mean, ultimately it's back to God. You know, God gives us our inalienable rights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy for anybody to think that you could have a right without a responsibility. You know, I think about in your home life, how you run your family and your children. If you just gave them rights without any responsibility, what would your children grow up to be like? So it's very important for us to participate in our communities, in whatever. I mean, there's lots of ways to participate. And so it's
Can you share a couple of ways?
Well, I mean, you have your city, you have your county, you have your state, all different levels where you can participate. But even more than that, you can participate in the community in other ways, such as in homeschooling efforts, you know, just to educate people, or school boards and planning commissions, all kinds of things. It's interesting to me how, at least it's true in Utah, how infiltrated our public offices or our facilities, or like even libraries and schools, and how infiltrated they are with leftist woke ideas. You know, how did that happen?
Well, we've talked about that on here quite a bit. And that is, you know, I don't know if you've read the book Battle for the American Mind by Pete Hegseth and David Goodwin, but when the Marxists came over in the late 1800s, before Hitler came to power, the first place they went to were the universities.
Yeah,
and they created these teachers' school, and they realized if they could get these commanding heights, then they could start disseminating this, you know, ideology and removing God and replacing it with the flag. And we've talked about that the flag is important, but not above God. That's not, our allegiance is to God and then to our country, and that priority and that order is so important. And so, I mean, I think 2020, we talked about this on here too, just kind of expose what's been happening for years under the radar. And now, you know, with this leftist ideology, I mean, it's full bore, full exposure, you know, not trying to hide anything anymore.
Right. And definitely, I mean, for me, it was a rhetorical question. I understand how it has happened. That's why I've never sent my children to public school. You know, I went to public school, so
did I.
And so I was educated, and I could see, as I had children, and I realized I don't want to send them there. I mean, in all honesty, my public school experience was good. It was joyful.
Mm-hmm.
I was involved with social things that made it fun, and I was always very serious about school. I always studied. I always had a desire to learn, and so I don't look back on that with any ill feeling. But I also knew that when I had my first daughter, who was supposed to go to kindergarten that I didn't want her to be there. And anyway, I just I had experiences in my life that helped me to know that that is not where God wanted my children.
How on earth do you juggle homeschooling and working and all of that?
Well, so it's been different throughout, how I've done that has been different depending on the different seasons of my life, from when I first started to the middle of it, to having children in every age of every different
Season.
part of school, which I don't know, God just made my ability. Clay Clark talks a lot about systems, and I was wise enough to understand systems, and I just put in place systems that helped me to be organized and just be able to follow a plan every single day that helped me to be productive and effective and
Save time.
successful. Yeah. And
so what's your best system?
Well, my best system is going to bed on time and getting up on time and taking care of myself first, then bringing my family together to have a little worship service prior to our day starting. And every day is a little bit different. I have my children involved in other things outside my home, but not necessarily in a public school. Although my sons have played football, and some of my other sons have played basketball. And
with a public school?
Uh-huh.
So you can be homeschooled and still play sports with them?
Yeah. Sometimes they'll give you a little run around, but yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
All of my children have been able to attend college. Not all of them had finished college, but a lot of my children have had full scholarships. So, getting my children into a college has never been an issue at all.
Wow.
And we never got, we were never diploma seeking. I created my own transcript, and believe me, the transcript that I created was so much more valuable than what they were getting in school. And there are just so many different things that we've done over the years that have been super successful and fun, and so many opportunities that we had that we never could have had if I woke up every day and had to send my children to a public school.
So I know that they don't have public school or even a Christian school, a school format, traditional format to base this on, but have they given you feedback and said, we're so glad we're homeschooled. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. My children will say that to me all the time. One of my daughters is currently living in LA on a service mission, a church service mission. And she just wrote me the other day, and she's like, Mom, thank you so much for how you raised me, for how you have allowed me to think for myself and sheltered me from so many ideas and just ways of living that other people, like she's living with other people that don't know how to eat healthy, that believe all these crazy things. And so she was just expressed her appreciation for the way she was raised. And my children will often do that. They'll
Really?
often say that.
Wow.
There was one time where my oldest son, well, I don't know if you want me to tell the story. How long do you?
Yeah, that's okay. We got a few more minutes.
Okay. So as I've homeschooled, people will homeschool in a lot of different ways. And some people will come onto the scene and think, oh, I have this great way to homeschool. And there was this one time where I was in the midst of everything, and trying to have my children especially love math was always a challenge for me, because it was not necessarily a subject I'm great at either. And so I was listening to this philosopher say, oh, your children, just have them do math when they want to do math. And so I thought, oh, okay, there's a little bit more to the story than just that. So I thought, okay, I'll just let my children decide when they want to do math. So I went home and I said, okay, if you guys feel like doing math, then you can do math, and I'll help you. But, I'll just let you decide when you want to do math, because it was a real. And so I went the rest of that year, and I started to feel really uncomfortable because there was no sign of my children wanting to do math. And the next year, when we went up to start school again, I just couldn't do it. I was just like, no, my schedule's like this. We're doing every subject. And so a few years later, and they were all fine. They were all fine. They were all caught up, and they were all fine. But one of my sons was like, "Mom, why did you do that? Why did?" And he kind of, expressed some dissatisfaction with that, and I realized, although I knew that beforehand, and I'd always taken it very seriously, just the responsibility that you do take upon yourself when you homeschool your child. It's no laughing matter. It's serious. And I have always taken it serious, but that was a good reminder to me that I never wanted my children to resent what I was choosing for them. And so I've really made an effort to have many opportunities for them. And they've had so many opportunities, so many things that we never could have done if we just woke up in the morning, go to public school, come home from public school, So it's just been a great blessing in my life.
Wow. I keep running into these folks who are homeschooling their kids, and the kids love it. The parents love it. And they're really turning out just so brilliantly and have a love for the Lord and are actively pursuing the call God's placed on their lives. And so that's so neat. I'm so glad I just met you. Your story is incredible. What if some other moms who don't have 10 kids, but might have 3 or 4 or 5, if they wanted to get a hold of you, how could they get in touch with you? Or if they had any questions about homeschooling, or how they could become active, if they just wanted to connect with you, how would they find you?
Well, they could email me at, I could just give my number.
Yeah.
My number is 801-498-0964.
Okay, one more time, 801-498-0964. 0964. Okay. So they can call you or text you.
Sure.
And get in touch with you that way. I think you're the first guest who's given out their self, except for Clay.
Yeah. Clay does it all the time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm like, I guess I can give my number out.
Yeah. I have 10 kids and I have a job, but I could talk on the phone too. Yeah.
I do business in the afternoon, not in the morning.
Okay.
I reserve my mornings for homeschool.
Okay.
For sure.
And then you do business in the afternoon. Yeah. Because I hear you're done. It doesn't take 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, we start early, we're up and going at 6 a.m. So if you're up and going at 6 a.m., you can be done pretty easily by 2. But that doesn't mean my children only need my help for a certain amount of the time. I don't need to be looking over their shoulder while they're reading or whatever. So we structure our mornings so that I'm pretty much free after lunch.
Wow.
Other than maybe driving,
Yeah.
I'm driving kids here and there.
Still. Yeah.
But I'll drive them, and while I'm waiting for them, I'll do my work, because I can do my work in the car or whatever,
Yeah.
Do all kinds of things.
Teena, I want to refer to you as Superwoman, because I think the key is you found systems, and you've worked the systems, because you just couldn't do it if you didn't have those systems. There's just no way.
No. And God has blessed me in many ways for me to be able to even continue to homeschool after I was divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
did you wonder about that, if you're going to have to put them in school?
Well, I would have never put them in school.
You're like, no, that wasn't an option.
But God's the one who told me to homeschool, and He is going to let me finish homeschooling. So, He just provided the way. And so,
wow,
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Part 2, Teena part 2, that'll be the next one. So, well, thank you so much. I invited her in here, and she's like, what? Oh, okay. But I've just learned to listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit. And it was the 10 kids that got me. That was, you had me at 10. I was like, I've won. So that's very intriguing to me. So I love meeting you, and I love your story. And I love how you are actively pursuing God and the call that He's placed on your life, and your kids are watching you do that, and they're following in your footsteps. And that's the dream, right? To raise our kids up, train them up in the way they should go. When they're old, they won't depart from it. And they're watching you live that out. And that powerful role modeling is affecting them, for the kingdom. And so how wonderful. That's just so exciting.
Yeah, that's certainly been my goal. I promised God a long time ago, in the midst of what I could see was coming, but I tried so hard to keep it from happening,
Mm-hmm.
And I just promised Him that I would do everything I could possibly do to do just that, if He would help me not to lose them and just help me along the way, and wow, He's just really done that.
He's been faithful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Yep. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And you are the epitome of that. And maybe Proverbs 31 woman. We'll just throw that in there too, because wow. Well, thank you all so much for listening to Teena and I talk today, and give her a call if you have any questions or you just want to figure out how she remains productive and sane with 10 kids. It's just, you're just amazing. I think her story is incredible. So reach out to her. And then always, if you have any comments or questions, please email us at moms@momsonamission.net. That's moms@momsonamission.net. And then check out our website at momsonamission.net and fill out your email information so we can stay connected. And then please follow us on your favorite platform. We have a couple of hits on YouTube right now. So we have one more left. So we're really hoping that doesn't happen. But if it does, if the YouTubers, if you'll follow us on Rumble as a backup plan, that way we won't just disappear and fall off the face of the earth. So thank you for listening so much today, and God bless. In light of recent bank volatility and skyrocketing inflation, diversification is a must. That's why I use my good friend Andrew Sorcini at Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Beverly Hills Precious Metals makes it so easy to diversify. I personally ordered some silver and it arrived on my doorstep just a few days later. They make it so easy. And if you're not ready to do that and you just want to ask a few questions, they're there for you too. I personally got some silver and also am rolling over some of my IRA. You can actually roll over your IRA and have it be backed by silver and gold. So if you don't have any extra money to invest in silver and gold, rolling over a 401k or an IRA, or even part of it, if you just want to try it at first, just for a little bit, you can do that as well. So go to bh-pm.com today and ask all your questions. You can connect with somebody. And like I said, you can just get some information at first if you want and pray about it, and then get back with them to roll over part of your IRA or all of it, or order some gold and silver. That's bh-pm.com. and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. Hey, everybody. Did you know that recent research from the CDC says that millions of Americans develop parasitic infections and symptoms often go unnoticed or are misdiagnosed? Parasites are actually the cause of many health problems such as anxiety, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, and unexplained digestive issues. We all need a common sense strategy to improve our health. Moms on a Mission encourages you to reach out to our good friend, Dr. Jason Dean. Dr. Dean's Full Moon Protocol provides all natural detoxification and fights inflammation. And the supplements are made with 100% organic ingredients and are proven to kill parasites safely and effectively. I know after I took Full Moon Protocol, I had more energy. To order your Full Moon Protocol today, go to bravetv.store/mission to save $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission. According to leading sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle getting a good night's rest. That's why Moms on a Mission loves MyPillow. MyPillow makes amazing pillows, sheets, mattress toppers, robes, towels, literally almost everything you need for a good night's sleep. They also make dog beds for your dogs. So by going to mypillow.com, typing in the code MISSION, you not only receive a high quality product, but you're supporting Moms on a Mission and this podcast. If you like what you're hearing and you agree with it, you believe in it, and you want to support Moms on a Mission, then go to mypillow.com today and order some high quality products, and just type in the code MISSION at checkout and you can save up to 66% off. That's mypillow.com, code MISSION.
Since 2014, Organic Body Essentials has offered clean, simple, certified organic skincare. Our organic face-to-feet and federally compliant hemp and pet products are manufactured under USDA and FDA guidelines. Our products are inspired by God using plants He created. In Ezekiel 47:12, it says, "The fruit is for food and the leaves for healing." We believe in the power of God to heal, so we pray over our products and for our customers. Our therapy in a bottle approach has been widely received, and our customers' testimonials continue to inspire us. You can find us at organicbodyessentials.com and obe.organicbodyessentials.com. Please feel welcome to reach out with questions. Use coupon code MISSION at checkout for a discount. Thank you for your support by using MISSION at checkout to benefit Moms on a Mission and their quest to reestablish traditional values in our education system and empowerment for a healthy lifestyle.